All right, guys, we are back in different clothes. It has been an eventful Wednesday, and we had to take the night and some of the next day to kind of recover because it was a very eventful day. So, this right here, we're just going to talk about kind of the overall review of the parks and everything, just in case we missed anything in the vlog itself. So, but first things first, it is an amazing park.
Absolutely.
There is plenty of things to do. Now, the problem that I will foresee is that when the park actually opens, that it's going to be a little harder to do everything because the crowds are going to be insane. I feel every ride is going to be at least an hour long. Monsters is probably going to be probably 2 hours. Donkey Kong's probably going to be 2 hours. Mario Kart probably. Isle of Berk is probably going to be an hour at least for the wing gliders. The Stardust Racers is probably going to be the longest one.
Yeah.
Battle at the Ministry, since there's only one ride at Harry Potter, is going to be insanely long too. So, like, I foresee not getting done with everything in one day when this park opens. It's just going to happen.
Yeah, because I mean, we went during a preview. Not only was it a preview, but it was a preview on a Wednesday.
Right.
So we went on a preview day that was a pretty chill, low capacity day, and it still took us all day to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I've seen people on some different posts and stuff asking if it's a half day park and all of this and that. There's no way. I think that when this park actually opens for real, it is going to be something where you would probably want to have 2 days booked just to make sure you do everything, or be comfortable with the fact that there's a chance that you're not going to do everything that there is to do in one day.
Yeah, and there were even a couple things that we didn't do, whether we chose not to do them or just didn't want to, like the interactive stuff at Super Mario World, because you have to buy the band and then you start doing that. So that could take an hour, at least hour or two, just to do all the little mini games around the world and then do the Bowser challenge when you collect the stars. And I mean, it's a cool interactive like game and everything. So, we'll probably end up doing that next time. But we tried to get pretty much on all the rides that we wanted to get on and experience all those things and make sure that we, had time to pretty much do everything. And for an annual pass preview day, we did pretty much, we rode Hiccups twice. And we pretty much did all the rides that we wanted to do, except for the rides that either we couldn't do, or that we didn't want to get wet, or it's just a ride that we're just we don't want to fly around on the thing and spin in circles all day. So
there were only 3 rides we didn't do.
We didn't do interactive at Super Mario.
Well, I'm not counting that as a ride.
We didn't do a show.
We didn't do
Harry Potter.
We didn't ride Yoshi because I mean we're
Yoshi Mover. We call it the Yoshi Mover.
We didn't ride the Yoshi Mover. We didn't ride the Dragon Racer Rally, just because that just is not our type of ride. Yeah. And then we were not prepared to get soaked, so so we didn't do fire drill.
Yeah.
So in total, we didn't do 5 things that there are to do in the park, and we're both big kids. We could spend a ridiculous amount of time in Super Mario World doing the interactive stuff alone. So I do think that I believe that this is going to be a multi-day park if you are somebody who truly likes shows and you like rides and you want to do everything there is to experience in the park.
Yeah, and you're going to spend a lot of money in the park too. Just merchandise alone, there's a lot of things that you just look and be like, oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. Oh, that's cool, So don't worry, you're going to be able to spend your money there. But yeah, overall, the park was amazing. The biggest portal was Isle of Berk, and it kind of shows. Like, that one is probably the more fleshed out of all the other portals, just because of the characters, the rides, the just the visuals of everything, meeting Toothless, all that stuff. It's probably the one that was fleshed out the most, and it really shows. The second one was probably Dark Universe, I want to say, but it is the smallest out of the other ones. So, well, technically, Super Mario World is the smallest, but it actually has 3 levels.
Yeah, Mario.
So it's a little the size difference is a little bit different, but I would still probably consider Dark Universe probably smaller, just on just flat surface. I did feel like it probably could have had a couple of more things in there, but overall, Dark Universe was amazing. The interactive characters were awesome. The food was pretty good too. Having said that, the Blood Tavern in the back where the windmill catches fire, that is just a little bar, and it's kind of small, and they have some seats on the outside, but other than that, it's not really a place.
It's not meant for you to sit down and eat. Like right. There were 4 high tops outside and maybe 6 or 7 inside. It's really meant to be quick service, pick up your food or sit down and have a quick drink.
Right.
The Das Steakhouse is really now in there. They have a ridiculous amount of seating in there.
Yeah, and it's a nice aesthetic and everything. You got like cool paintings on the wall, and the lighting changes and everything like that. So that one was pretty good as well. Now Super Mario World, that's probably that's my favorite portal, because the way the portal is, and you have to go through the pipe, and you're going up, and then you come out of Princess Peach's castle, which is pretty awesome. And it looks very much like Nintendo 64, Super Mario 64. So that definitely brought me back. So that was really cool just to see, because the only thing that I would say that the issue with that is that it's very overwhelming, Super Mario World. Like,
it's sensory overload.
Sensory overload. Everything is happening around you. Everything is loud. And I guess everything is loud. I guess they're predicting that, when people are there, the more people that are going to be there, the more like random people noise it's going to be. So it might just wash out the sound. So that's why they probably have it loud. But yeah, sensory overload. Everything's happening around you. You have all the interactive things happening. You're going down and up steps all the time.
Yeah.
And what's really good is Donkey Kong Country has its own little section, kind of like an offshoot. So it's not like it's tied to Super Nintendo World, but it has its own little area. And that area is just as big, if not bigger, than Super Mario World, I guess, in that area. But Super Mario is tall, whereas Donkey Kong is more like land flat,
Yeah, and I feel like that what I was going to say.
Just let it out.
Oh,
just spit it out.
I had something to say, and I was waiting for you to finish talking, and I totally forgot.
So yeah, there are again the stores in there. You're gonna spend money in Nintendo World. They got a lot of cool things. They got the power-up bands where you have to get those for the interactive things.
I mean, if you want to just beat on stuff and hear the ding ding, that works. But if you want to actually be able to collect coins and stuff, you have to have the band. Do we know what happens with the coins? Like, is it just so you can play amongst your people and be like,
so you have
I got the most?
I don't know if you do anything with the coins, but I know you're supposed to collect stars. You're supposed to like beat the little interactive game and you get a star. If you get 3 stars, you go to the Bowser Jr. Challenge and you're supposed to fight him. And it's like basically like Xbox Connect, where like it's your body and you just touch things and it's interactive. It's like an AR interactive thing. So that's pretty cool. I'm not sure if they're going to do anything with the coins or anything like that, but it's just fun. It makes you feel like you're Mario, where you're jumping up and hitting the coins, like ding ding.
And I mean, if you have, it'll be fun with your like groups of people. Like my family I'm not competitive, but they are. So it'll just be fun with your groups of people to see who can get the most coins and who can get the most this and who can get the stars in order to, go up against Bowser Jr. So like I said, I really feel like that area alone is going to take up so much time. And there's so much stuff going on, and it's just so beautifully done. I feel like you can see something new that you were like, I didn't notice that before. Like every time you go. Yeah,
especially at night. Like the whole park in general. At night, it looks amazing. And in a lot of the ride, well, not let's say a lot. There's probably a couple of rides that you want to do at night. The Stardust Racers, you definitely want to do at night.
The carousel.
I heard Hiccup's Wing Gliders is pretty cool at night as well. Donkey Kong looks pretty cool as well. When I went there at nighttime, it looks pretty cool. So definitely that. And then more than likely, Dark Universe itself looks pretty cool because everything's like electrified with Frankenstein's manor and everything. I did hear that the Harry Potter in France looks kind of cool too, but that wasn't, which is another thing. That wasn't my favorite portal, and it shows. And I'm pretty sure that's not going to be a lot of people's favorite portal in general. But
ride-wise, I don't know that I don't know that you need to ride Monsters Unchained or Werewolf at Night,
right,
for it to change the aesthetic any.
Just be in the portal.
Yeah, looking at the portal itself at night is going to be everything is just so all beautiful at night. But the rides that I think you should ride at night, definitely Stardust, Hiccup, just because Isle of Berk is right next to the Stardust coaster. And so you get to see all the lights on the Stardust coaster. You can see those from Hiccup. You can see more of Isle of Berk.
Yeah, you can see Super Nintendo World from Stardust, and the portal looks amazing lit up. That's probably the best looking like outside portal. And then when you're inside, it's the best portal because you go up into the pipe.
It is the best portal that you walk through. I think the carousel at night, absolutely gorgeous. The carousel itself is beautiful, lit up, but then also when you're on it, you can see all the different things around the park, which is absolutely beautiful because it's centered in the middle. So that is beautiful. Even the hotel looks beautiful at night. Everything is just so beautifully done and lit up so beautifully at night.
Yeah, and it kind of sucks now because with the time change that we just had, that the park is closing at 9. So you only barely have an hour to see this stuff at night and everything lit up. So you have a very limited time of be able to see all this stuff. So come October, when we get the time change again and it's 5 o'clock and it's nighttime, then you'll have plenty of time to see everything at night. So, but until then, yeah, you only have a limited time. But Celestial Park itself is just like the main hub between all the other portals. It's technically its own portal, but it's like the main portal that connects all the other portals. Yeah. Right? So it's like basically like it's like Fortnite or some kind of VR game where you go like Roblox, where you're in the game and then you just pick a different portal and you go there or whatever. Basically,
yeah. Celestial's how you get to the place where you can travel to the different worlds.
Right.
And all the portals at night, you also can see that they connect to each other.
Yeah, they have a light at the top, and all the lights converge right into like a point right at the top. I didn't notice that until someone else pointed it out to me. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, very early on, we had a game plan, right? We got hotel stay, so we got early access. So we had an extra hour. So we beelined it for Donkey Kong, and that's where we met a new friend. We met John. I was calling him Little John behind his back. Don't tell him. But what's up, John? But no, yeah, we rode that, and then we ended up going to ride Stardust as well. It's my mouse. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's just time's up. But yeah, we rode Stardust together, and then we went to go see Hiccup, and he wasn't the meet and greet type, which I understand because we're normally not like that too. So we ended up losing him, and he basically ditched us. And then coincidentally enough, we were just almost crossing paths with each other through the rest of the day. We went to go see the same show. We went to Harry Potter at the same time. It was pretty hilarious. And as we were coming into Isle of Berk at night, he was coming out to ride Stardust. So then we actually got back with him, and I rode Stardust again. So it was pretty funny. It was a cool dude. He was actually staying at the Helios that night too. So he got all the cool visuals probably from last night. And I did hear last night that they were doing some light testing at like 3 a.m. Through the whole park, and you could see like the whole park had this synergy of lights like just lighting up in all kinds of weird ways. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, we ended up hopping back and forth, which was probably not a good thing because we usually do that at the other parks too, because we're trying to get to certain things at certain times to make sure that we're getting
everything.
The good times, right?
Yeah.
We ended up riding Hiccups twice because basically it was a walk-on. So that was pretty awesome. We got to see the show, which was amazing. And And the show did break down for like for like a minute or two, and then it picked back up. Didn't skip a beat. The crowd was very enthusiastic the second time everything was started playing again. So they were really hype about that. It was a good show. I feel like there was some points that maybe it could be a little bit better. Like they only show Toothless a couple times. But I feel like overall it was a great show. The music was good, and the visuals and some of the walls light up too a little bit too. So it was a nice little quick like 15-20 minute show. So that was very awesome. And we got to meet Toothless there as well, which was like an hour wait, and that's probably going to be even longer when the park opens.
Yeah, we got there so the portal opened at because that's not a portal that's open for early access. It opened at 11 o'clock. We got there at 11:04.
And there was already an hour line.
And there was already a line and they said a 35-minute wait. However, that quickly changed to 70 minutes. And I would say we definitely waited at least an hour.
Yeah, the only portal that was open for early entry was Super Nintendo World. And then you were able to ride the Stardust. So those are the only two things that you could do. So we had to beeline it for Donkey Kong because I knew that was probably going to be one of the longer waits. So we had to do that first. And then, bounced around. Monsters Unchained was awesome. Probably one of the best. It's probably the top 3 queues, actually. Mm-hmm. So
it's my favorite queue.
My top 3 queues would definitely be Super Mario Kart. That is my favorite queue out of all of them. And then probably Monsters Unchained, and then Battle at the Ministry. And the only reason that Battle at the Ministry is probably third is because of all the stairs. The Flu Network is awesome. It just does a little, a burst of cloud or whatever, and it makes you seem like you're going into the Ministry. And once you're in there, it just looks amazing, right? It looks so massive, like you're literally there. And then going in and out of the rooms, and I think we actually saw lockers. It looked like I saw Neville and Harry Potter's like locker for the Ministry, so that was cool. But those were the top 3, and then the top 3 rides for me were Monsters Unchained, Battle at the Ministry, and Stardust. But Hiccup is a very close like fourth, like because these roller coasters are very smooth.
Yes, I think my top. I'll give my top 2. So my top 2 rides are Monsters Unchained and Hiccup. Like, I am really surprised at how much I liked Hiccup Wing Gliders. Yeah. Like, I am surprised at how much I really enjoyed that coaster.
It's almost almost a sleeper hit. Like, like you knew it was like, oh, it's a family coaster or whatever, but it was so smooth and it was enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard one of the team members describe it to someone who was asking her what it's like. And she was like, it's like Hagrid's, but without the extreme drops.
Right.
Like that's how she described it. I have not ridden Hagrid, so I don't know how true that is or not, but that is how she described it. It is such an enjoyable ride. And then Monsters Unchained is just amazing. So those are my 2 favorite rides. I got to give it to Monsters Unchained again for my favorite queue. And a close second would be the Battle of the Ministry, because that is just absolutely beautiful. Like,
yeah, the green and the purple walls, like it's gradient.
It is gorgeous.
It is really
absolutely
nice.
Gorgeous. Like it is jaw dropping. Like when you go through don't come at me. I'm not a Harry Potter person.
Come on, Harry.
So what is that thing? The shoe? Is it a shoe?
What shoe? The Flu Network?
The Flu, that's what, okay, the Flu.
The Flu Network. Where you go diagonally.
It is it's jaw-dropping when you go through the Flu and you come in and you see it.
You see like the Ministry, yeah.
It is literally breathtaking.
It is big. It's massive. Like, I've never seen anything like, it looks massive when you're in there. Like, wow, I'm actually in this thing and it looks humongous. And you see like the big wall of the big banner, and like you see Umbridge right there, and you're like, oh, I hate you, Umbridge.
And I feel like from outside you just wouldn't expect
you don't
that.
know
you
yeah
would not expect
from outside you don't know how big it is on the inside. It's like the TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside. So yeah, but that was unfortunately the portal itself, France in the 20s. I'm not feeling it. I don't like it. It's not I don't feel it's cohesive to Harry Potter. as far as the ride. Like the ride is modern, but the world is set in the 20s in France, so it doesn't kind of mesh well. Basically
But doesn't that work because she was going through? Is that meant to be like that because she was trying to steal some time thing?
That does make sense because the whole theory behind the portal is time, in that you're going back in time,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the ride she is stealing some kind of time turner thing. So it does make sense now that you mention it, because I didn't think of that before. That's how they kind of connect it, but it really does. Really, the portal is just for people to wave their wands, you know, and at windows and see things move. That's basically all it is. And then on the inside, there's a couple of shops. A lot of the doors, you don't know whether or not you can go in them. It seems kind of weird. Like, oh, can I go in? No. Okay, this door I can. And then there's a shop and it's candy or it's food or it's whatever the case is. So one thing I did like, though, is that you have to go deep into the cut, but there is a section to where there's an interactive portrait that will talk to you and everything. So
what was her name? Cassandra?
Her last name is Trelawney. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And I assume that she's a distant relative to Professor Trelawney from Prisoner of Azkaban. They have the same last name. So, and she's also in Divination too. So it kind of fits together. But yeah, so she interacts with you back and forth. It was pretty funny. We got a lot of that on footage and everything.
Oh yeah,
she talked my head off.
She really talks. Like she talks. I would say if you're going to go talk to her, be prepared for a conversation.
Right.
Because she talks and talks and talks and will ask you stuff. I was like 3 different times where I thought she was going to wrap things up with him. Because she'd be like, okay, well, I want you to find your way. And then I think that she was going to be like, okay. And then she'd be like, so what's your name again?
Yeah,
I was
trying to find my spot to like duck out, right? I was like, oh, okay, well, you have a great, and then she just kept, I was like, oh, okay, I guess she really likes me. I guess like she wants to talk to me. But so that was really cool. And then there's like a little Easter egg where you can kind of witness, technically you can witness a murder per se. Like you see a green light in the window and you can actually tell one of the characters there because they're part of like the ministry. So you can, it's kind of like a little Easter egg there. But overall, that's probably my least favorite portal, but it does have my best ride in there. So it's kind of like a weird caveat thing. I did not see it at night, so I don't know how it looks, but I heard it looks pretty. I've seen images and stuff like that. It looks pretty cool, but so yeah, it was a pretty eventful day to say the least. And we're actually going back again on the 7th.
We'll be there on the 7th. So when we went this time, we stayed at the Terra Nova. So we'll actually have a
Terra Luna. So you said it wrong. You said it wrong.
That's your get in my head.
It's rubbing off.
We stayed at the Terra Luna. So we'll have a video of that for you.
And they have Superman ice cream there too.
Yes.
Superman ice cream. It was awesome.
It's not his favorite place to stay.
It is. If Stella Nova doesn't, it's the worst place ever.
And so I think when we go back in 2 weeks, we're going to stay at the Stella Nova. So the plan will be that hopefully we can stay at least these 3 new hotels at some point as we're going through these and, get an idea of them. I was looking at the Helios and I was like, ooh, because they have a park view.
Yeah, and it looks amazing.
I was like, I would want to stay there and get a park view and be able to see that park all lit up and everything. I think it would just be absolutely beautiful. Yeah,
and Stella and Terra are like 5 minutes. Like literally, you look out your window, I can see the back of Donkey Kong roller coaster there. So it's literally like a 5-minute walking distance if you wanted to. And then they also have the bus shuttles there that start around the time, like a half an hour before they open. So yeah, it was definitely a pretty exciting day.
Actually, the shuttle started now a full hour.
Oh, do they now?
They start an hour before the park opens.
Before the park opens, but they open the gates at 9:30 to get everyone through, because the way they have it set up is weird because they have security, and then right after security, you scan your tickets. Whereas other places, you get security a little bit further down, and so you have more space. So it did take a little bit longer to get through security because the tickets are right behind them. So I thought that was kind of weird. I feel like they should have spaced that out a little more, but it didn't go too bad. We got there pretty early. We got there around 9ish, and
Yeah.
So we didn't wait too long, but it was a hot day. The sun was beaming down our necks and everything. So definitely bring, if you have like water bottles, you have like, what's like a liquid IV, or some Mio, definitely hydrate, get cooling towels if you can, bring an umbrella if you must. And
they
there's something else I'm missing.
They have water fountains and fountains and water stations all throughout the park.
Yeah.
They have the freestyle machines that you can get water from.
Yeah.
So just, come prepared to make sure you stay hydrated, because we're getting into that time again where it's going to be just unbearably hot and humid, and the parks, I mean, there's not a whole, I don't want to say there's not shade, because once you get into the queue, like into the main part of a queue, I'll say it's air conditioned, it's cold, know,
into the covering of the queue.
Yeah, but before that, it's going to be hot. You're going to be in the sun.
There is some sections to where are not shade. So
yeah, like when we were waiting for Toothless, because
Toothless is barely any shade.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to be in the sun. Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell nobody.
But
don't tell the sun that either.
I'm not supposed to be and like just get overexposed in the sun. And when we were waiting for Toothless, because I would say we were probably at least 35 to 40 minutes in no shade.
No shade.
Like he had to go get me some water. He went and got a cooling towel for me. Because it was just really hot.
Yeah. And then I think Hiccup has a big section to where once the park opens, there's not going to be any shade or barely any shade. And a lot of the trees haven't, it's going to take time for them to mature. So there's not going to be a lot of shade in certain areas. Now, I will say pretty much everything else has shade. Donkey Kong has shade. Mario Kart's completely under. Yoshi's completely under. Monsters is completely under.
Yeah, I think unless it's
Isle of Berk is like the only one, I think.
Yeah, and unless it's a queue when it opens, it's very reasonable that it may be this backed up, but you should be okay unless it is a very, very, very long line. I would say when the wait times get to where you're waiting an hour, you are, for some portion of that, going to be in the sun.
Might be in the sun, yeah. But overall, I think they did the ride queues as far as shade very well, with the exception of Hiccup, just because the whole Isle of Berk is the point of it. Yeah. So there's not a lot of shade in that portal. But all the other queues and everything were no problem. Everything was under the shade. I'm trying to remember if Wolfman was as well, but I'm pretty sure it was mostly under shade. But it's hard to tell because of annual pass previews, because
the lines weren't long.
It's not open to everyone, so you can't really judge that. But I'm pretty sure that for the most part. Now I will say that what's going to tend to happen is that Battle at the Ministry, because you can actually go inside and look at it without having to have a ticket for it, because people understand they want to see what's inside, but inside is where the queue starts. So you could take the Flu Network inside the Battle Ministry and then, see it and then leave. But I'm pretty sure that beginning part before you get into the Flu, that's going to come out of the ride itself. So you'll probably be in the streets more than likely for that one. But overall, it was a great experience. Did you have a what do I want to say, like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a unexpected thing, like your what's something that you didn't think was going to be okay? Mine I think was Mario Kart. My unexpected one that I didn't think, like, oh, it's just dumb because it's AR and it goes so slow. But when I actually rode it, I was like, first of all, I've always been a Super Nintendo nut, so it caught that for me. But what I didn't like about the VR for Mario Kart is that it's AR plus there's other things in the world, so it's hard to look at the VR and actually play the game and also look at everything that's around you, because there are physical things that are around you, and trying to play the game in AR, you're kind of stuck between looking at both, so that was a little disconcerting. But overall, it was a sleeper hit, actually, and I enjoyed it, and the kids are going to enjoy it.
Oh, the kids are gonna love it.
Yeah, it's good. And just the queue itself, that was literally my best queue. Just the queue itself made it for me. So it was pretty awesome. So
Like, I think my sleeper hit was definitely Hiccup, because I
yeah,
didn't expect to
that was a
like.
close second for me.
I didn't expect to like that ride as much, but and this is probably crazy, but my favorite, I love Donkey Kong. I love Minecart, but not because necessarily because of the ride. Not that it's not a fun ride. The ride itself is fun, but I love the track because the track is made up and it's made to look like you're going to run off the track. Like you don't know what way it's going. So I love looking at the track from this perspective of not trying to look at the physical track that our cart is on,
right,
but looking at it from the aesthetics that it's supposed to be. And that made the ride so much more fun to me because you would think that you're about to go this way and all of a sudden you cut over like that.
Yeah,
it was so much fun.
It was a pretty fun. The only thing I would say is that there are certain sections where the track is skipped. And I feel like it does in the game, because of course I'm purist. I wish it did like a little hop over, because that's usually what happens when you're jumping the track, is where it does like this little hop. And then the other section is when it comes down and there's like a water section in between the track. The water doesn't splash like you're in the water. So that kind of loses the immersion part of that portion. But overall, it was a pretty great ride. So
Mr. Perfectionist over here.
You know, well, what can I say? But yeah, it's just little pet peeves of mine. It's just little pet peeves. It happens, but yeah, it was a great park. We're going back again, and dare I say, is this going to be your favorite park? Is this your favorite park?
This is now my favorite park out of all of the parks, out of all of the Universal parks, the Disney parks, the SeaWorld and Busch Gardens of it all. This is now my favorite park.
It is very close, and yeah, maybe it's just because for me, it has that new car fresh smell. It's new. We're experiencing all these things for the first time, and it's like so exciting. And not many people get a chance to experience a brand new park, for the first time. And the only closest thing that I've had was the Pandora in Animal Kingdom. I went their grand opening and experienced that for the first time. Waited in line 4 hours for Flight of Passage.
Insane.
It was definitely worth it though, because I loved that ride when it came out. But yeah, this was different. It's a whole new park. Everything is brand new. You got Super Nintendo.
And not only is it a whole new park, but it's a whole new park with things that we have not experienced.
Right. Like,
because
we've never had a dark universe land like that, and, especially Isle of Berg too, just having those characters and, you're actually able to pet Toothless, which was pretty crazy.
When I tell you, worth every second of that hour
wait. It was
amazing. I got to boot Toothless nose. I got to pet him. I got to scratch his little head. He smiled at me. It was amazing.
Yeah, so I want to say it is my favorite park. Now, hopefully, the more I go, that doesn't die off. But everything was pretty amazing here, and
because you're not gonna stop liking the rides and the shows. So it's like, what's gonna make it not be your favorite?
And I mean, it does have some things about the park does have a little bit of hiccups, like the tavern in the back is a little too small, and there's some things they probably have to iron out and whatnot. But overall, yeah, we had a great time, great experience. Luckily we didn't go during opening, so all the lines were short. We got to do everything we wanted to do. The park looks beautiful. It looks beautiful, especially at night is literally the best. So yeah, it's definitely probably my favorite park now. So, and hopefully we get to go many times. Hopefully they add it to pass holders.
That is what I'm waiting for. Like, with the way that they rolled everything out with this, I'm hoping that they jumped the gun on either letting you add it to your annual pass or coming up with an annual pass, because I feel like just the rollout in general for this, between how they first started with, if you want to buy a ticket, you have to buy a 3-day ticket and you can use one of those days for Epic. I thought when they did that it was going to be at least the end of the year before they started allowing people to buy single day tickets that were not pass holders. Because why have people pay for a 3-day ticket and tell them that's the minimum you can do.
Right. And then a month later.
1 day, and then a month later say, oh, everybody can have single day tickets, and
that's what they did.
And then even with the pass holder stuff, they were like, okay, pass holders can buy single day tickets because, of course, you have a pass. I'm not buying a 3-day ticket that I can only use one of those days, and I have a pass for the other 2 parks. So then they released single day tickets for pass holders, and then shortly after that, they were like, oh, we're going to have pass holder preview. And it's like, well, then why did I buy this single day ticket?
And then hotel people have a chance of getting in as well. So if you get a hotel at one of the Universal resorts, you have a chance of getting a ticket as long as they have tickets for that day.
Yeah. And they even, they're sold out now, but also if you were a Universal credit card holder, they had a bucket of tickets available for credit card holders to get preview tickets as well.
For like family members and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, it's like the way that they've been rolling things out, I feel like they just got things going faster than what they anticipated. Because there had to be a reason for why they were launching things the way they were. And I think things have just been moving up faster. And I'm hoping that continues to go that way and that they will hurry up and let us add this to an annual pass.
Yes, definitely. So we've been talking for a while, at least a half an hour. So we're just going to end it here. We're going to go back in 2 weeks. So I'm sure we'll have another vlog, or we always stream from there as well. So we'll stream on that Wednesday that we go there too. So if you're not doing anything, you'll be able to catch the stream live. And yeah, that's about it. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Leave anything in the comments, any questions that you may have. Don't forget to hit that like and sub button as always. And we'll see you next time. Peace out.
Bye.